Am I turned on? Wait a minute, that sounded kind of weird. I meant my mic, in case you're wondering. Yes, I really get into speaking. Okay, and so, all right, so a couple things before we jump into today's topic, which is lead generating. Now, a little quiz here, guys and gals. If somebody wants to sell 20 homes, how many leads do they need? Good, very, very good. And so I think you should be clear at this point that those, is that for me? Oh, no. I think you should be clear that those 80 leads are not all gonna find you guys. Yes or no? Yeah. On the Toronto Real Estate Board, the biggest group of realtors, listen carefully, the biggest group are those that sell between 3 and 7 homes annually. Well, actually, it's the second biggest group. The biggest group is those that sell 0. That's the biggest group. 18,000 sold 0 last year. 15,000 sold between 3 and 7. Now, if you really think that through, that means that those realtors, the biggest group, which means I don't think people are working and in this room that sell 0. So that means the biggest group of any group I speak to on TREB is those that sell between 3 and 7. And so those folks really have between 15 and 20 leads annually. And so if you're a realtor for a while and you know people at your place of worship or your kids' functions or the sports that you do, every realtor each month, 1 or 2 leads will find you. 1 this month, 2 next month, 1 month, next month, 2 the next month, 2 the next month. And over the course of a year, about 20 find you and you sell 5 homes. That's the way that works. And so yesterday, I was doing 3 seminars, morning, afternoon, and evening, like today. And I always get this when I go to an office where they haven't heard what we teach. And a lady came up to me and said, "Oh, I've been selling 4 years, and last year I almost had such a huge year." And I said, "What do you mean by that? How many homes did you sell?" 5. So she's the lady that I'm talking about right now, which I'm speaking to most of the room here. And so she goes, "Yeah, but I was so close to getting a whole bunch." "Yeah, I know, 15. I know that." And I explained the concept to her because it was my talk. And after this seminar, she said, "So my first 4 years of selling 4, 5, 6, 7, every year when it ends, I think, but I was so close. I could have that one, could have that one, could have that one, could have that one, could have that one. Yeah, 15. So that's going to just continue." In her mind, she was thinking that at some point, some year, it's going to click or connect. And she's going to beat the numbers game of 1 and 4, but it's not. And she goes, "So really, I need to find 80 leads. Is that correct?" I go, "That's correct." You guys all clear on that? If you look at what we've talked about so far, today is the first of the 12 sessions that is based on skill. The first 90 days together, I wouldn't say it's boring. I wouldn't say that. I hope you don't think that. But really, I haven't really taught you any skills yet. I've only taught you structure for the first 90 days. And I don't want you to think that because of this format, our company coaching like this, we meet once a month. I don't think there could be a better location to meet for a meeting. This is the best by a long shot. And then we have a weekly conference call. So I don't want you to think, well, because of that format, that's why it's taking so long to establish the foundation, because that's not true. We have a one-on-one coaching program. There's hundreds of people in that. When they get with their coach when they first join, not trying to say this to get you to do that, you shouldn't do that. If any of you call our office and say, "I would like to talk about your one-on-one coaching, $700 a month," our staff would say, you're already applying. Why would you do that? Well, is it more? It's not. It's the same. There is more accountability. That's true. But the message is the same. Someone joins one-on-one coaching and they would spend the first 2.5 months. So it might be a couple of weeks quicker than what we've done. But the coach would spend 2.5 months working on the foundation. And the truth is that foundation we've worked on for 90 days, you have it now because we took so much time on it. It can never be taken away from you. You have it and you know it like the back of your hand. And I had mentioned this when I was with you guys and gals last month, that if you went to do a transaction, you wrapped it up with a realtor, and you were meeting at Tim Hortons next door here to distribute the paperwork, and the deal's done. They were the successful offer on your listing. And the realtor said to you, I'm not having such a great career. I really wanted to do way more deals. You see, what we've looked at for the last 90 days, you could coach that person. If I gave it all to you in 30 days, you wouldn't have retained it. But you could coach that person. All of you in the room could say to them, well, how many homes did you want to sell? Well, I'd like to sell 20. And you could say to them, well, you know, if you want to sell 20, you would require 80 leads. And they'd say, well, what do you mean by that? Say, well, 1 in 4 leads works out. That's the numbers game of real estate. And it doesn't matter if you're 1 year or 30 years. It doesn't matter if we're in a extreme seller's market, neutral market, or buyer's market. It's 1 in 4, period. To them, that would be really important information. They say, well, where would I find them? You say, well, there's 6 proactive ways to get business. You might not be able to rhyme them off like I can, because I've done it so many times, but you'd be able to say there's 6 ways: your database, FSBOs, expireds, open houses, geographical farming, and calling around active listings and solds. All you need to do is choose 3 of them, so you don't have all your eggs in one basket, with your database as number 1, and then the other 2 that suit you. Find all the leads and just process them. Now, guys and gals, you could do that, yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah, you have that. That is the model. We spend the first 90 days, more or less, with every coaching client working on that. That can never be taken away from you. Today starts the next 9 classes, which are all skill-based. That was all structure-based. Although, in the end of last month's class, in the in the lead follow-up script, I started to show you a little bit of psychology as to why the script was set up that way, if you remember that. But that was the very beginning of how the brain works and how you can incorporate psychology into being a great salesperson. But from here forward, it's all that. However, you notice at the beginning of this class, I'm going over the model, yes? Yes or no?
Yes.
And so next month when I come back and I teach you the listing presentation, I'm going to show you how to answer the subconscious questions they have before they ask them. How convenient would that be? Yes or no?
Yes.
But before we do that, I'll remind you of the model. And then I'm going to teach you how to work with buyers so they buy fast and how to win in a multi-offer. And I'll teach you why it is that when a buyer meets you for the first time, you say, come to the office Saturday morning at 10, and you're driving in, and you get a text at 9:30, your buyers are here, because they're always early the first time. Yes or no? And then 30 days later, they say they want to put it on hold. And then they buy from someone else, and then we say buyers are... I'll show you what happened. Unfortunately, you happened. By doing and saying the wrong things and scaring them. I'll show you how you did that, you never do it again. Skill. I'll show you how when you get objections, how to trigger the brain that they actually want to agree with you. Imagine someone saying to you, well, the other agent's charging 3.5. You ever get that? Yeah. I hope you're not that other agent. And so I'll show you how to handle that in a certain way that they'll actually want to agree with you and want to pay 5%, the psychology of it. The rest of the way here, the next 9 months, is all skills, not just say it this way, say it that way. I'm going to explain to you why the brain works that way and why those words work. I'm not good, guys and gals, at very many things. I'm a pretty good golfer, but I'm not bad at hockey. But I'm very good at making things clear. So today I'm going to show you how to lead generate. In the message that I left you, today is not about the scripts, although we have them. It's about explaining to you the whole concept of lead generation and what are the words to choose. Which words actually push the people away, and which words draw them into, and why, when you're either door knocking or calling, they say, I'm not interested at the exact same time. Why that happens, and you'll be able to never have that problem again. You've probably heard this before, that someone mentions to you, or it's happened to you, that a listing comes up and you say, you know what, I called that street. I door knocked that street. I talked to those people. And they said they weren't thinking of moving, and then they listed 2 weeks later. So buyers are liars and sellers are liars too. That's what realtors say. I'm going to show you that when you were prospecting those people, you triggered something in their brain, an automatic no mechanism, by the words you chose and the way you did it. And so they had no choice but to say no to you. It's exactly the same as when you ladies walk into a shoe store and the clerk comes up to you and says, can I help you? And you say, without even thinking, just looking. Yes or no? And then 10 minutes later, you're trying to get some help. Can I get some help over here? Well, you said you were just looking. You triggered my automatic mechanism. So I'll explain all that to you today and the real proper way to view lead generation. Imagine if all of your calling or door knocking all ended like this. No, but thank you for stopping by. No, but thank you for calling. No, but thank you for calling. No, but thank you for stopping by. No, but thank you for calling. If that's how it all went, nobody would be stressed out, yes or no? Yes or no? Yeah. It's morning here, correct? Yeah. This looks like the evening seminar. If that's the way your lead generating went, nobody would be stressed out about it. It'd be very cordial. Today, when we're finished, you're going to understand the principles to making it that way. Before we jump in, who's coming to my event the next 2 days? Okay, who's not registered yet? Okay, you know how when you text and use your phone while I'm speaking, it annoys me. Is that clear? I mean, when you do it the way I stare at you like for 5 minutes, for 5 seconds, how I think that you shouldn't be doing that. Is that been clear, yes or no? Because it does annoy me. I did a conference not long ago in Niagara Falls, and the convention center had their ballroom in the basement, and cell phones wouldn't work. It was awesome. I love that. They should hold all real estate conventions at that hotel. Because people were down there going, my cell doesn't work. Just put it down. Like you're at a listing presentation. Do you make calls while you're at a listing presentation, yes or no? Can you imagine that? You're doing a presentation, which I'll teach you next week, and your phone rings? You would say, I'm so sorry, you have to apologize. Anyways, I'll make it real easy for you to get registered. So everyone, if you're going to come and you're not registered, just write this email address down. Write it down right now. It's Carissa, Corissa, Corissa, Carissa at robviviancoaching.com. Carissa at robviviancoaching.com. If you email Carissa, you can even do it right now. This is the one time you can actually use your phone and I won't mind. If you right now just email Carissa and say, I'm in the program at C20 Heritage, I'll be at the event. After 12 o'clock today, they won't make any more name tags. You can still register, but you will have a name tag written with a magic marker probably tomorrow morning. But if you right now just email Carissa and before 12, you do it right now if you want, I don't mind. Say, I'm going to be at the event tomorrow, register me, they will make you a name tag. After 12 o'clock today, they got to get focused on a few other things. At this event the next 2 days, you know, what we did in the first 90 days, 1 in 4 workout, 3 pillars, all that kind of stuff, it will be a pretty big event, probably 500 or 600 people. So there will be about 200 or 300, maybe half, a little less than half, that have never been to our events before. So I will have to share that with them in one of the sessions, how that works. But if you're wondering, well, are we just going to learn the same stuff we're learning here? No, this is all structural. The talk I'm doing is called 10 Success Principles. And I left you guys a message earlier that if you don't have these principles correct, our structure isn't going to help you, unfortunately. Who has heard that you become what you think about? Like, I don't think you could get to this point in your career, an entrepreneur, and not understand that principle. You become what you think about. So really, the 10 principles I'm going to share, if you don't sort them out in your head, unfortunately, you cannot win. It's impossible. If you were able to have an awesome real estate career, making lots of money, having a big career, and not have your brain wired for success, you'd be the first person on the planet to beat you become what you think about, which that's not going to happen. You become what you think about overrides everything. And so I'm going to spend most of my time speaking at this event on those 10 principles. And if you get them right, you can't fail even if you tried. You'd be like sucked into a vacuum of moving forward. But if you do not get them right, you cannot win. And so what I'm going to be sharing there, although in these classes we do structure, what I'm going to be sharing there is what hovers above that. How to sort out your mind and get these principles right. And I'll tell you how to do it. Who's heard of the law of attraction? How would you like to know how to control that? When we teach how to control the law of attraction, then what people become aware of is, holy crap, no wonder I have so much crap in my life. Because you accidentally drew it to you. Because law of attraction is neutral. Matter of fact, I would say for very few people, they're using it in a positive way. Most people are attracting what they don't want in their life. When you understand the principles, then you're going to realize, well, that's why I got so much of that crap, obviously. And you can fix that. So these types of events we do are above and beyond what we teach here. So even a couple of you have said to me, are you just going to teach the same stuff again? Okay, first of all, that's a very bad mindset. Like as if you could learn this, hear this stuff too much. We got one-on-one clients for 8 years to hear the same stuff over and over again. So no, it's not gonna be the same stuff, but it wouldn't be bad if it was. All right, so I think that's the things I want to talk about when we get started. Yes, so email Chris to get registered. We'll see you guys. Now, there's a cafeteria there, cash only, okay? So bring some cash. You should have cash on you. We're used to not carrying that, but it's cash only. There is an hour lunch. There's restaurants close by. You can leave and come back, no problem. But there will be a cafeteria with some sandwiches and things if you want to just stay at the convention center. And just that it's cash only though. So bring some cash, otherwise you'll be coming up to me. Can I borrow 20 bucks, Rob? Which I'll say yes to the first, I don't know, 5 or 10 till I run out of money in my pocket. So, okay. Everybody clear? All right, so turn to page, I believe it's 23. Page 23. This is the page where we needed to find 6 leads between the last meeting and this meeting. And listen carefully, everybody. The metaphor I use a lot for a realtor is a locomotive train in an old Western movie. If you watch that train leaving the station, there's so much energy required. It doesn't really matter how long that train's been in service. Maybe it's a new train. Maybe it's been in service for 20 years. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't get out of the station quicker or easier with less effort just because it's done it before. It doesn't matter how long it's been in service. To get out of the station is a big job for that locomotive. Matter of fact, there's so much steam coming from it that you can't really see it. But once it's out of the station, it just takes a shovel full of coal every 20 minutes, that's it, to keep it moving. It has momentum now. And so I'm telling you guys and gals this, and listen carefully. In order to get the train of your real estate career out of the station, it requires 4 months in a row of finding the appropriate amount of leads. So in order to do 20 deals, which is the class minimum for this type of program, is 6 leads a month, 70, 80 leads a year, 6 a month. Now listen carefully, guys and gals, because I'm saying to you that the vast majority of realtors, 90%, have a 10, 15, 20, 30 year career, and the train never gets out of the station, ever. Like ever, in the entire time. Because there is no margin for error to get the train out of the station. It takes 4 months in a row. So if you want to sell 20 homes, you need to find 6 leads a month. For the realtor, every month has 2 or 3 built-in reasons, you call them, excuses really, as to here's why you didn't do it this month. I had to write my last articling exam, Rob. Well, that's why you only had to find 6. The kids were sick. That's why you only had to find 6. We moved. That's why you only had to find 6. I had this hot buyer, 2 of them. That's why you only had to find 6. July will give you 2 or 3 reasons why at the end of the month you couldn't find your appropriate amount of leads. August will give you the same, September will give you the same, October will give you the same, and on and on and on and on and on. And most realtors buy into that. At the end of the year, you didn't find 6 times 12, 72. You found up and down, up and down, up and down, 40, 30 leads. You did 8 deals. That's the way it works. The truth is, you have to find the appropriate amount of leads for 4 months in a row. There's no margin for error. So you find 6 leads one month, 6 leads the next month, 6 leads the next month, and then the real estate mind says this: you know what I should do? I should solve these leads before I go find some more. That's built-in software that realtors come with. You know, when you get a computer, it's got some software already. When you get a real estate license, that's some of your pre-installed software. And so what happens then is you don't find 6 again. The train did not get out of the station. You have to start again. And then you find 6 leads, then you find 6 leads, and then you only find 2. You still did not get out of the station. I'm telling you, most realtors do an entire career and never get the train out of the station, not even at all, ever. If you could just get it out of the station, you have margin for error now. So you find 6 leads, 6 leads, 6 leads, 6. I know that sounds a little demonic. I get that. 6, 6, 6. 8, 8, 8 for 25 deals. 10, 10, 10 for 30 deals. 13, 13, 13, 13 for 40 deals. 17, 17, 17, 17, 17 for 50 deals. Once you do it 4 months in a row and get the train out of the station, on month 6, something happens and you only find 2 leads. Well, the train doesn't come to a screeching stop. it slows down from 50 miles an hour probably to 35. That's okay, it's not stopped. They just find the right amount of leads the next month. So with our coaching clients, we love it when you would get that metaphor into your head and hold on to it. Once you get the train out of the station, 4 months in a row, no margin for error, then never let the train stop again as long as your career goes. It's okay if it slows down. Matter of fact, we're coaching our one-on-one clients to let the train slow down in the summer. Our coaching with one-on-one clients goes in 90-day cycles. The theme for the second quarter was setting up the perfect summer. And so I said to them, get the train going so fast in the second quarter that when you enter July 1st, a couple weeks ago, it's going maximum capacity, 50 miles an hour. And then only work half the summer. We're not a workaholic company. I'm leading this charge, by the way. I take 9 weeks off, 45 Monday to Fridays off. I said, only work half the summer, which does mean work half the summer, right? Sometimes, and the train on Labor Day will have slowed from 50 to 35. That's okay. It's not a case of, what if the train slows down? I think you should make it slow down. I think you should enjoy the summer, yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes.
Our winters are cold here. You shouldn't be doing real estate to have some perfect life in the future. Should be now. And so let the train slow down. That's an excellent idea. But after Labor Day, get back on it, yes or no? Once you get the train going, never, ever, ever let it stop again. Be conscious of that, because if it stops, it doesn't matter how long you've been selling. The train isn't better at getting out of the station just because it's done it many times. We have a client in California. He's basically Charlie Harper. You guys know who Charlie Harper is? 2.5 Men. Charlie Sheen. Charlie Sheen. We coach Brett, and he's 30, really good looking, and he lives in that beach house. And he makes about $1 million a year. And he's single. He's basically Charlie Harper. And so he said to me, I'm going to Vietnam, and it was a 6-week trip. But I said, okay, that's fine. So guess what happens when you take off for 6 weeks, though, to the train? It stops. And I said, so as long as you understand, I'm happy that you're doing it. That is fantastic. Understand that when you come back, you got to get the train out of the station. It takes 4 months in a row. You have to know what you're getting into here. And so he said, yeah, I've been selling for 10 years, but it doesn't matter. I mean, I know he'll figure it out. He got back, and about a month and a half later, 2 months later, says to me, man, I can't believe how difficult it is getting this going again. Well, the train was in the station. So guys and gals, if you let the train stop, go on a 6-week trip. Don't let it stop while you stay in Newmarket. Because most people let the train stop, well, they don't go anywhere. From here forward, once you get the train out of the station, if it ever stops, make sure you're abroad for a couple of months, yes or no? Don't let it stop while you're local, for goodness sakes. All right, so who found 6 leads from last month to this month? Put your hands up. Hands up, real high. Okay, that is clearly not enough. Okay, so let me ask, just for those of you that did not, I'd like you I want you to ask yourself a question. The question is, don't write it down, did you do your best? That's the question, okay? So did you do your best? Did you do your best? Okay, did you do your best? Did you do your best? Did you do your best? What? Did you do your best, yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no? I'm pretty sure that would be almost unanimous if we go through the room. You guys understand that? So I'm not saying as your coach that I'm not okay with that. I don't think you should be okay with that. We're not asking for perfection. I hope you're not asking for perfection from yourself. I just don't think that you should be okay with not doing your best. You guys agree, yes or no? Yes or no? Yes. Okay, so here's the thing with our program. It's always easy to get back on. So if on the break, somebody just come up and said, you know what, I screwed up from last month to this month. How do I get caught up? Well, find 6 leads from July to August. That's all you have to do. It's easy to get back on our program. All you have to do is find at least 6 leads from this month to next month. They're everywhere. When I go speak at conference, I'm booked to speak at your conference in Vancouver in October. Who's going there? I guess you go to conference, it's like grade 8 trip. We're the only industry that takes grade 8 trip or high school trip like into adult life. So what I do when I go on convention, I spoke at a convention last week, and so I arrived the night before, and so I talked to folks there. I happened to be in Halifax, And I talk to the people. I'm having some dinner. Like I go the night before. I'd love to fly in the morning of, but when you're keynote speaking something, you can't afford to have your flight be late or something. So I have to fly in the day before. And in the hotel the night before, I just start talking to people, those that are bringing dinner at the front desk, and I look for leads. I found 2 in Halifax. I found 2. And then I did a talk on why we need to find leads. And then I said, I found 2. I'm not even from here. 2 people, and it's never happened once when I go to a conference that the night before I don't find 2 people that are thinking of moving or know someone's thinking of moving in the hotel. Are leads everywhere, yes or no? Yes or no? Yes. So I say to the group, and I'm saying to you guys, if this is a conference and I traveled, I would have 2 leads since I've been here. I said I found 2 last night. Can I have them? I didn't get them, I just found them. I'm not from the area. But the waitress and the guy behind the checking me in, says, yeah, we're actually putting our home on the market in a couple of weeks. She says, yeah, I split up with my boyfriend, I'm gonna be looking to buy something. I tell the group, I found 2 since I've been here. Surely you can go find 6, seeing as you do live here, in a month. Yes or no? Yes. You need to get that in your head. I mean, you got to get that in your head that every month will have reasons why you can't do it. You cannot buy into that. Who found 6 again? Okay. What is your name? Lilia? Anita. Okay. And so, did any of those work out yet? Yeah. Okay, good. Any falling away yet? Yes. Excellent. Anita, tell me the same story again in August, please. Okay, simple as that. And then what will happen is, if you do that, Anita, for, 4, 5, 6 months in a row, at some point, you're going to say to me, is it really this simple? I'll say yes. I got a call a couple days ago. Actually, it was the long weekend. I was at the cottage, and I got a call from one of our clients in Ottawa. And listen to this conversation. 10 years in the business, never sold more than 8 homes. Well, that's logical, actually, because he's a social guy. He goes to church. He plays hockey. His kids are involved in stuff. So he has 1 lead this month, 2 leads next month, 2 leads next month, 1 lead next month, 2 leads next month. The way you're all getting, yes? Yes or no? Yeah. Okay, they come to him. So over the course of a year, he finds 15 to 25 leads and then overcommits to them, of course, to leads that have a 1 in 4 chance, sells 5, 6, 7, 8 homes for 10 years in a row. And then we teach him, he says, I want to sell 30. He said, do you think I can do that? I said, well, the better question is, can you find 10 leads a month? That's the better question. Because I can do that. I've been selling for 10 years. I can do that. I'm kind of eager. He just didn't have a plan. And so in the first half of this year, he found 61 leads and he did 16 deals. That's what he was calling to tell me. So 10 years of selling 5 to 8, I have 16 at the half, which I'm on track for 30 something. And I have 61 leads. It's like mathematically absolute, which I already knew that, by the way. And then watch these 2 questions. He says, is it really this simple? Yes. Has it always been this simple? Yes. Crap. It's 10 years of not knowing, you understand? So at some point, you're going to say, this is really what it is. Yes. I mean, I'm going to teach you Reprogramming skills. I'll make it simpler for you, for sure. But that numbers game, that is the numbers game. Some of you folks need to start playing that. You need to start playing that numbers game. It's as simple as that. All right. Flip over to page 27, please. And let me teach you how to be a great prospector today. I'd like you to write a question down, please. The question is, how do I view prospecting? How do I view prospecting? Don't answer the question yet, just write it down. How do I view it? Now, what I'm looking for here isn't how you're doing with it. Because if you're not doing well with it, that means you're not viewing it correctly. So don't write down, I'm way behind, I gotta catch up. Because that's a byproduct of the fact that I don't really like it. You guys understand that? So what I really want to know is how you're doing with it. I mean, how you're viewing it. How do you think about it? That's what I'm talking about first here. Listen carefully, don't write it down yet. When you read this question, so how do I view prospecting? Something's going to pop into your head. That's going to be the correct answer. Any thinking beyond that, you're trying to rationalize a better answer for the class. You understand that? And so, and then a long answer, you're now explaining why you feel that way. You're rationalizing. There's only so many options here. I don't like it. It's a necessary evil. It makes me nervous. I'm petrified. I love it. It's easy for me. Those are all short answers, yes or no. And those are really the choices. There might be a few more on how you view prospecting. And so what I want everyone to do is just write down the answer. How do you view it? When you think of prospecting, what do you think of? What goes on in your head? Love it, hate it, necessary evil, makes me nervous, can't wait to do it, no problem. I'm going to point to a couple people, so you better write it down. Because you understand that if you didn't write it down, I will be pointing to you. And by the way, when I'm always searching the crowd for people, if you avoid eye contact with me, I choose you for sure. So you know. So if I look at you like, so if you don't want me to choose you, just stare me down. Yeah, that's it, just like that. That was actually scary. You're really intense with that. So just write down, how do I view this situation? Because see, I'm going to teach you in a bit how to be a great prospector, but I have to sort out your head first, which I can show you how to do that. Who in the room has heard the term NLP, neuro-linguistic programming? NLP? That's all? Who's heard of Tony Robbins? He doesn't do anything else. If you've read Tony Robbins, this is what he does. Neuro-linguistic programming, this is his thing. So that's what he does. I'm going to explain neuro-linguistic programming to you, how to sort out your brain if you've spun it incorrectly. If you've spun lead generation wrong in your head, you're not a negative person. Positive people think negatively all the time. A few years ago, I thought I would keep track of all the negative thoughts I would have in a day, but I abandoned it about 9 a.m. because I had like 30 already. I'm a pretty positive guy. I mean, I'm definitely a glass half full. I am definitely living life like right now. I am not waiting to someday have fun in the future. That's not the way I live. It's all about right now. You know what's not guaranteed? The future. You got now, so you better be enjoying things right now. So I'm going to show you first, if you have spun this incorrectly, how to fix it. Because when I teach you the skills and explain to you in the brain why it works this way, it's not going to help you if you have a negative spin on it, because you become what you think about overrides everything. So I'll show you how to fix it. And when I show you how to fix it, you're going to think to yourself, are you sure there's not more to it, Rob? NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, it's not a motivational thing. Motivational speakers like a Tony Robbins, they would take that concept and make an inspirational story out of it. But NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, is a neurologist term. You understand that? It's how the brain works. That's all. It's nothing exciting at all about it. It's just that a motivational speaker can make it very inspiring. Okay, so everybody write something down. What did you write down?
Hate it.
Hate it. Put an L beside that. That's not for loser, in case you're wondering. It's for a limiting belief. So here's the thing. I'll show you how to fix it. But if I didn't do this exercise first, what I'm going to teach you, unfortunately, cannot work for you. So if you spin prospecting negatively, you're not a negative guy. None of you are. Do you think all realtors are positive, yes or no? No. But see, only positive realtors take stuff. So the only realtors I get to interact with is ones that take stuff. So of the 46,000 realtors on Treb, the negative Neds, negative Nellies, you know the people after the class that go, what are you taking that crap for? You're like wasting your morning. You could have been here with me doing nothing instead of up there. Negative Neds, negative Nellies, they never take stuff. So I don't get a chance to interact with them. So I have a room full of positive people, but unfortunately you spin things negatively all the time. In which case you cannot win. You cannot be a good prospector. It's impossible. Because if you could, you'd be the first person ever to live to beat you become what you think about, which you can't do. You can only struggle with it. When you have a limiting belief on prospecting and you force yourself to do a prospecting session, you finish it after 2 hours like, oh, I need a nap. That was hard. It's like how every guy would feel after going to the mall for like an hour. Ladies, I know you can shop all day. The mall is male kryptonite. Did you know that? Yes or no?
Yes.
I don't know why. When I play golf, I like walking and carrying my clubs. 4.5 hours round of golf is about 5 miles if you hit the ball straight, so I walk about 8 miles. I'm fine. But I go to the mall for 1 hour, I do not recover that day. Like, I do not recover that day. All the guys know what I'm talking about, yes? I don't know why. It's just a place you walk around. We get back from there right to the couch. That's it, we're done for today. That'd be like you after your prospecting session. What did you write down?
Hesitate.
Put an L. What did you write down?
Love it, some aspect, not all.
Say that again.
I said love it, but some aspect of prospecting, not
Small L. What's that?
all. Nothing.
Okay. Bila? Where are you? Where'd you write down?
It's boring.
It's boring. Put an L. See, if you love prospecting, here's how it goes. You're standing up, your headset on, you're walking around for a couple hours making calls, and then you go, oh my gosh, it's 11 o'clock. It can't be 11 o'clock already. Wow, I just finished 2 hours. That's insane. How many people did I talk to? 21. Huh. How would you like to be like that? That's the way it has to be. I'm going to show you how to do that, actually. What'd you write down?
Love it.
Excellent. What'd you write down? Gave you the pen, yeah.
Oh, give you the pen? Lots of rejection.
L. Not once. I'm going to show you why you get that. Again, what if it all went like this? No, we're not thinking of moving, but thank you for your call. No, we're not thinking of moving, but thanks for stopping by. No, we're not thinking of moving, but thank you for the call. No, we're not thinking of moving, but thank you for the call. No, we're not thinking of moving, but thanks for the call. No, but thanks for calling. There'd be no rejection. You understand? I'm going to show you why you do get rejected. But you have to understand something too. Everybody in life, you always get exactly what you're after. So if you go at something thinking it's going to be this way, you are correct. You always get what you're after. However you spin something in your brain, the brain just makes it happen. Ask me about the listening presentation earlier. What did you write down?
I love it still.
You love it still.
Yeah.
It's like at some point it's not good. We're not talking about your wife. We're talking about prospecting. I still love her.
I still love it. It's fine with you.
Okay. All right. All right. What did you write down?
I like it.
Okay. What did you write down?
I like it.
Okay. Young lady, did you write something down?
No.
So you're just soaking it all in? Just listening and soaking it all in? How do you view prospecting?
I'm the Thornhill manager. I'm just listening.
Oh, the Thornhill manager. Okay, so that would make sense actually. Because you like prospecting in the past. Okay. All right, so let me show you how to fix it. So listen very carefully. So just write this down. If I view this negatively, I cannot win. If I view this negatively, I cannot win. It would be impossible, but I'll show you how to fix it. Sometimes folks say to me, well, why did I do that? Why did I spin that way, right? I always say, you know what? I don't know, but if we start exploring why you did that, now we're in therapy. I don't know why. I'll just show you how to fix it. And who cares why? Why you spun it that way, I don't know. If you're a realtor, how many homes do you want to sell in a year? You can't say less than 20.
Right.
So that requires 6 leads a month, 70, 80 leads. You know they're not all going to find you, right? So therefore we need to go find some of them. Okay, so if you spin it negatively, you cannot win. It is impossible. Okay, now listen carefully and I'll explain this to you. Have you heard the saying before that your mind's like a parachute, most helpful when it's open? Is anybody parachute here other than me? Well, our chute's opened, right? They opened, we're good. Actually, when I parachuted, the next week someone's chute didn't open. When you go to parachute school, to try to make you feel better, they say this to you. When you jump out of the plane, you get up, your body gets up to 120 miles an hour, like right away within 2 seconds, 3 seconds, but then it doesn't keep picking up speed. Okay, so that's good to know. So I won't hit the ground at 500 miles an hour, just 120. Oh, so it just stays at there. That's comforting. That's their comforting thing. Okay, so have you ever tried running in water?
Yes.
Up to your waist? Yes or no?
Yeah.
It's very difficult, isn't it? It's been very hot lately. At my cottage, the lake is already 80 degrees.
No way.
Yep. I wouldn't lie. It's 80. I only know that because my fish finder tells me. It tells me the depth and what the water temperature is. 80. And so we have a beach, so playing beach volleyball in the water is insanely fun on a hot day. You have to hear. But sometimes the ball is right there, but you can't get to it. You guys understand that? Because it's hard to run in water up to your waist. You can run in water, obviously. If I ran in water from here to that wall, I would be tired by the time I got there. Do you guys understand this? And so if you're a positive person and you spin something negatively for whatever reason, it doesn't matter why. We're not exploring the why. We're just going to work on how to fix it. So if you're in the room and you have a negative spin on lead generation, if I had to ask you what you wrote down, I would have told you to write an L, which means you have a limiting belief here. And so if you have a limiting belief in anything, you're in the water. And so if you make a prospecting session after 2 hours with a negative spin on it, like if you have a negative spin on L with lead generation and you're making calls, the phone is ringing and you're thinking this: don't be home, don't be home, don't be home, don't be home, don't be home. Or you're door knocking. Don't be home, don't be home, don't be home, don't be home. And then you hear them move around. Oh, they're home. Can I escape? Stuck here. That's all aspects of a limiting belief. So when you finish your session, you feel tired. You feel worn out. You go, gosh, that was difficult. Well, of course it would feel that way. It's hard. That's how you'd feel after running in water for 2 hours. Of course you'd be worn out. Of course you'd feel frustrated. That's how running in water would be. So people say to me sometimes, well, I have a limiting belief. I don't view prospecting in a positive way, but I went door knocking and I got a listing. Well, you can run in water. So of course you can get something from it because you can run in water. So if you want to do 20 deals and you need 80 leads, I'm thinking 20 leads will find you, like they find everybody. That's why 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 transactions is the biggest group on every board, because that's what agents get. 1 this month, 2 the next month, 1 the next month, 2 the next month, and so on and so on. And 1 in 4 of them work out. That's how it is in real estate. It's the other 60 that you need, you understand? So in the water, I know you can run in water, so therefore you can prospect and get something, but not 60, maybe 10. So maybe then you end up with 30 leads, you end up with 7 or 8 transactions instead of 5. Because you can run in water, you can get some results running in water, just you can't get the results you get if you're on the beach. You understand that? You guys all clear on this? So I'd like you to write this down, please. Affirmations are the key. Affirmations are the key. I'm sure you've heard before some dialogue from a speaker about saying affirmations, yes or no? I mean, unless you're like a brand new realtor, it'd be hard not to hear that. And so affirmations are not something mystical, it's just you're affirming something. So your viewpoint of prospecting is what? I hate it. Now listen carefully. What is your name?
Michael.
Michael. So probably next month you won't sit in the front, right? Cycle everybody, you know. So because Michael's my guy today. And so so Michael been selling for
4 years.
4 years. And so Michael hasn't been saying his affirmation. 8 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, I hate prospecting, I hate prospecting, I hate prospecting, I hate prospecting, I hate prospecting. But Michael has been thinking that for 4 years, yes? You guys understand this? And so in Michael's brain, it works like this. On a battleship, the captain is in charge, yes or no? Nobody questions the captain. And so in the human brain, it's exactly the same. You have a conscious mind, the captain. You have a subconscious mind, engine room. The engine room's running the ship, but subject to the captain's order. Everybody clear on this? And so if the captain says to the engine room, we hate prospecting, we hate prospecting, we hate prospecting. If you've heard about the power of your brain to move heaven and earth to draw things to you, it's not in the conscious mind, it's in the subconscious mind. This is where the power is. But it's subject to what it's told. And it never questions the captain. So for 4 years, you've been thinking, I hate prospecting, I hate prospecting, I hate prospecting. The good news is your brain works perfectly. That's the good news. The subconscious mind, the engine room, doesn't say, excuse me, captain, you know, we're a realtor, I'm not sure that's the best thought. That would be the engine room questioning the captain. You guys understand that? Never happens on a battleship, never happens in your brain. The subconscious mind, where all the power is, just listens to what it's told and makes it so. listens to what it's told, and makes it so. And so if the captain is out there on the high seas in a big storm and he's feeling somewhat suicidal, if he sees a reef over there and he says to the engine room, full speed ahead and 20 degrees to the starboard, you know the engine room will do it and run the ship up on the reef. Well, that's kind of what's happened in your brain with lead generation, yes? Because you've been thinking the wrong thing. You guys clear on this? Yes or no? Yes. Affirmations, you've been affirming the wrong thing. At a seminar yesterday, a lady came up to me at the break and said this, I don't believe in affirmations, which I found it odd that she would use an affirmation to make her point. I thought that was odd. I think that what she was really meaning is I don't believe in the power of them, because an affirmation is just affirming something. Whatever you affirm is the captain speaking. The subconscious mind, the engine room, just makes it so. That's how you become what you think about works. You understand that? Good news is your brain works perfectly. You got that? And so if we use an affirmation to go into the water, wouldn't it make sense that we'd use an affirmation to go back to the shore? Yes or no? Yes or no? Okay, so I'd like everyone to write this down, please. I love making my calls. It's so much fun. I love making my calls. It's so much fun. That will be the affirmation. See, guys and gals, look up here. Are you writing more than I'm saying? I love making my calls. It's so much fun. You see, when the captain speaks to the engine room, when the conscious mind speaks to the subconscious mind, it's better in short, direct commands. The captain doesn't say to the engine room, hey guys down there, so listen, here's what's going to happen. We're going to do this, and here's why we're doing it. And so hope you guys are on side. Like, everybody, come on, guys, work down there. The captain does not communicate with the engine room that way. Quick to the point, yes or no? Instructions. If we talk to our subconscious mind the way we communicate with other humans, because when we communicate with other people, we tend to explain ourselves and coerce them a little bit. Like I remember a couple years ago when the latest Bond movie came out. Who likes going to Bond movies? I feel like the best or what? Like I like movies with lots of explosions and no plot. That was awesome. They don't even have to have words, just a lot of things blowing up. So my wife says, oh, we should go see that new Ben Affleck movie. I said, well, we could do that because that would be obviously awesome. I totally want to do that. However, the Bond movie has all the explosions, big screen. We have a 70-inch at home. That's pretty big, but not like a theater. So probably better to watch that one on that, seeing as there's probably not going to be any explosions or even any action of any sort in that movie. And this one has all this, so I'm coercing her, yes or no? Which did not work, by the way. But I'm saying that that's how we communicate with other people. That confuses the brain. See, you would not want to say this. I love making my prospecting calls because you know what? Because that's really the backbone of my business, and we really want to grow our business. I need to get those leads. I love when I come in. The brain is like, what is happening? You're giving it too much data. Affirmations are more powerful when they're direct and to the point. I hate prospecting. Unfortunately, it's a perfect affirmation, and your brain is working perfectly. And so right now, you're in the water, yes? And the shore does not exist. But listen, guys and gals, if you're on the shore with your lead generation, those that say, who had a positive spin on lead generation? Oh, I love making my calls. Hands up. I won't ask what you wrote, just hands up. You can be honest. So not enough. Okay. And so if you're on the shore, oh, I love making my calls. You get up and you get in, you make your calls, you go door knocking. If you're in the water and you're gonna make your calls, here's what happens. Because you're in the water, you're supposed to start at say 9 a.m. You guys know that. And so then you start doing things, moving things around, angling the phone. I gotta go to the washroom. Come back. Oh, I should probably check MLS just to be sure quickly before I start. Buyers for the Smith. Okay, it's called avoidance behavior. There's a term for it. When there's a term for something, it's common. And so now all you have to do is you have to get yourself from 9 to 9:20 and not start. And then as soon as you get to 9:20, well, I've already screwed today up. I might as well start fresh tomorrow. Mission accomplished. Thank you. Or it's like 9:15 and you're just about to start. Someone says, you want to go for coffee? Yes. Thank you. I almost started. That's how it'll always go in avoidance behavior. It's all because of the thinking. You understand that? But what if you're on the beach? I love making my calls. That's so much fun. I'm so jacked up about that. You wake up in the morning on the 220 work days and you get at it. You get to the office. Someone says, you want to go for coffee? Are you insane? Right now? It's money time, for goodness sakes. And then 11 o'clock, you're like, is it 11 o'clock? I can't believe it. See, up here right now, do you guys think I like what I do for a living, yes or no? Yes. I do this 350 times a year. It's fantastic. In 3.5 days, I go to the cottage Thursday, well, not this week. I'll be at my event till 4 o'clock on Thursday. I take off at noon on Thursday. That's the life I have right now. Yeah, I love it. But see, you guys notice me checking my watch? Yes or no? Yeah. You know why? I can't slow it down. I'm always fighting my watch. When I'm making coaching calls, I love doing it so much. Maybe the client's coach calls 11:30. I'm looking at the clock. 11:20. You got to be kidding me. I got to pick up the pace here. Time goes so fast. Versus laborious. So if you're on the beach, you're standing up, got your headset on, you're walking around, you're making calls, the pills you chose, and then you look at your clock. Oh my gosh, it's 10 to 11. I can't believe that. Where did that go? And at 11 o'clock, you're so energized because you just did something that you love. Yes or no? When I leave here, I got to bring it down a notch. Because see, I start explaining things and I just get more energized as we go. I can't go to the next seminar and start there. I got to go back again, start down here. You understand that? Otherwise, if I keep going, they're going to go, what is with this guy? I gotta drive into faith. Breathe. Whew. Bring it down a notch here. Start from scratch again here. So, listen carefully. So all that you have to do is say to me, this indicates water. This indicates beach. I'm sorry I walked off the screen. You should have come anyways. So, say, I love making my calls. It's so much fun.
I love making my calls. It's so much fun.
Again.
I love making my calls. It's so much
Again.
fun. I love making my calls. It's so much fun.
Well, if the captain gave the brain that instruction, then the subconscious mind would not say this. Excuse me, Captain, a question here. So we seem to be getting a new instruction now, which is different than the previous instruction. This would be the engine room questioning the captain. You understand that? Does not happen. Your brain will not do that. Right now, hate it, right? Water exists, shore does not exist. Later, shore exists, water does not exist. You understand that? All you have to do is say that opposite affirmation. And so, does anyone know how long it would take to go to the beach? How long? How long? 10 to 12 days? 21 days. That's common, maybe. Anybody else?
2 days.
Maybe. Probably not. But possibly.
10 minutes.
4 days. 10 minutes. Definitely not. 3 days. Let me tell you the answer. So, if you garden, you know that some weeds you pull out, they just come out, yes? No root system? Some weeds have a root system. If you have a thistle in your garden and you grab it, you pull it, it breaks off. You can rough up the dirt so it doesn't look like it's there, but you know it's there, yes? 2 days later, yes or no? Because it has a root system, yes? And so, the bigger the root system, the longer it will take. You understand that? So 4 years, I hate it. I know you haven't been saying on a regular basis. Doesn't matter. You've been thinking it. It's the instruction the captain's been given the engine room. And the engine room doesn't question the captain, so let's make that so. So now you say that affirmation, and it's like, okay, pays attention, but the other is still dominant. So the new one has to become dominant in order to push the other one out. You understand that? And so if you read what neurologists say, see, if you go to listen to a neurologist speak, they're very boring, very monotone. Their purpose isn't to make it inspirational. They're just to explain it. So a neurologist would say this to you. We don't know why, but the brain seems to be wired to the number 40. And it doesn't matter if you're Christian, Muslim, Buddhist, Hindu, it doesn't matter. The number 40 comes up a lot in history. And so they say, not trying to make a spiritual connection here, but your brain seems to be wired to that number, 40. So if you want to change a belief, if you just started thinking, like, we've been together 90 days. And so if I shared something with you and you thought, yeah, I don't know, like maybe finding 6 leads a month. You've only been thinking about that for 90 days. That might only take 10 or 12 days, or 5 days, or 6 days, because you haven't been thinking about it a long time. But it doesn't matter how long you've been thinking it, it cannot go past 40 days. 40 days is the maximum. So in other words, when I come back in August, you'll almost have it kicked. And once you get here, you never go back there again. Because once you're here, you can think, gosh, you have a rough session. I hate prospecting. You don't go right back there. It's called neuro-linguistic programming because once you're here, the brain eliminates this like it never was there. That's why it's called neuro-linguistic programming. It's not like Alcoholics Anonymous, where you go dry, sober, then you fall off the wagon. Or is it on the wagon? Which one's bad? Off? Isn't the booze on the wagon? It might be backwards, that saying. Anyways, you go out on a big binge, you're kind of right back where you started, yes or no? Yeah. This isn't like that. So you hate it, yes? Water, it's a reality. You say that opposite affirmation, you go to the beach. Once you're at the beach, the brain then chops this and eliminates this. You're not even susceptible to it just because you were there at one time. It's gone. It never existed before. That's why it's called neuro-linguistic programming. Programming your brain. It's not like someone's there with a bungee cord. So here you are on the beach, and you have a rough session. You go, gosh, what a drag that was. I hate that. You don't go right back in the water. You'd have to do that for a number of days in a row. Why would you ever do that? You understand that? So right now, in the water, you could say, I love making calls. You're staying in the water. That one thought or two thoughts or three thoughts does not take you there. And once you're there, the odd negative thinking doesn't bring you back here. It's when everyone is dominant. You understand that? Which I hate it is clearly dominant. Yes or no? Everybody clear? All right. Okay, so I want it to be where I am right now by 11 o'clock. So that's kind of cool. Okay, so what I'm going to do in the second half is, now that we've sorted that out, I'm going to give you one more point before we break, is I'm going to teach you how to be a very engaging person with words and some tricks that trick their brain. But this first half we talk about, if you have an L here, what I'm going to teach you can't help you in the water. So we had a client called me yesterday. He's been in coaching for about 2 months. And she said this to me, listen carefully. She said, I hate making calls, but my coach is making me do it, so I'm doing it. So you're saying you're going to splash around in the water. Is that what you're saying? Why would you do that? So I appreciate your commitment. Your coach is, because it's only 3 weeks, the coach is going to work on the model for 2.5 months. I had to call the coach, mix in her mindset, tell her how to say some proper affirmations. Because we don't want clients who are saying, I hate it, but I'm willing to do it. Now, I'm not going to, as the head coach, say, why would you splash around in the water? Why would you do that? Why don't you say that opposite affirmation for somewhere up to 40 days and get out of the water? Now, who's heard a speaker say before, you should say your affirmations, yes or no? Yes or no? Yes. Okay, so I'm doing a talk the other day, and it's common that I'm not the only speaker. As a matter of fact, at your event in Vancouver, Tom Ferry's there. He's there, I'm there. And so I hear other speakers all the time because they almost always hire 2 speakers. And so I hear them say your affirmations. And they always say it this way, say them at 6 a.m., noon, and 4, or something like that, right? Times? The problem is, those times never suit. Can you imagine being out at 4 o'clock or 6 o'clock when it's time to say your affirmations, and you're out with buyers? So he goes, hold off a second, I want to say my affirmations. My buyers buy first time out. My buyers buy first time out. My buyers buy first time out. That's going to be sort of awkward. So what I'd recommend is this. Try to fix 1 or 2 areas at a time where you're in the water. If you're a realtor, I think being in the water for lead generation is problematic, yes or no? So because you're a realtor, you drive alone in your car a lot, right? Yeah. And so every time you're alone in your car, say your affirmations for 1 minute, and then turn your radio to all sports radio or whatever you listen to. I have other stations, but I'm never there. So on the way up here this morning, I went from my house to my office, from my office to here, from here to leading edge, from leading edge to home, from home to another one, home back. So I'll be 6 times in my car alone today. So for the first minute only, 1 minute, say your affirmations. So I won't make you do this, but if I said, say that for 1 minute till I say stop, at the end you go, wow, that was intense. So when you leave here, just say that for 1 minute. Every time you drive alone in your car, say that affirmation for 1 minute, and then just go on to whatever else you do. The captain will go for 1 minute to the subconscious mind. That'll be your trigger every time you drive alone in your car. You understand that? Times will never suit you. Just say that, and then when you're done, move along. 1 minute's not that long. And the subconscious mind, the engine's like, okay. Like 6, 7, 8 times a day, yes or no? And then it won't take too long down the road, no more than 40 days, and it'll be done. But you have to say it to make it become dominant, and how long that will take would be dependent on the root system. Everybody clear? Okay, a couple of you emailed me, didn't get one of my books when I brought them last time, so I brought just a few, like about 10. So, and some of you owe me some money from last time, because based on the amount of CDs were gone, and the amount of money in the box, if you took the CDs, you're not going to pay me. Trust me, my life will not be any different. It's okay. That's all good. So, but if you want one of the books, they're $20. They're all signed copies. You know that one of my favorite sayings is what? Something awesome is going to happen today. So I wrote that in the book with my signature. So that's my favorite saying, obviously. So if you like one of them, grab it on the break, because I'm out of here right at 12 o'clock. Take a 5-minute stretch, please. Again, don't confuse the brain, right? Like, just basically whatever 2 or 3 you're working on. Like, if you have an L beside this, you definitely need to fix this one. This is the most important one for a filter. This one and maybe one other, that's it. One of our new clients emailed me, this is my affirmation, like 50 of them. How would the brain know what to latch onto? You got 50. Give it, yeah. Like, that's confusing the engine, you understand? So, only 2 are at a time. So, solve the... Good. Oh, that's for whatever's going out. That's good. Is that American? That's like 25.
Okay,
I don't have a 5.
That's okay.
I'll give you a 5.
Yes, yeah. I'm actually, unfortunately, I won't get home tomorrow, but I gotta go there. That's why I changed over. It is any chance I may,
Here's what I did, okay?
because I really,
If you, okay, I'll give you the answer. I'll give you the answer. So before August class, text me, email me. I won't remember this, okay? So the day before. Don't text me when you leave. Text me the day before. I put the 10 success principles on a CD. I mean, I'm going to talk for like 20 minutes on each one, but I put the top points, like Nicole's notes, on a CD. I'll bring you a copy, okay? That's the CD. I'll bring it, but you need to text me the day before, otherwise I will not remember. Yes. Welcome. Yes. For a different topic, you mean? Oh, I'll start with that when I come back, okay? So, but for this topic, that's the one. You say that one like 20 times, 1 minute. Yeah. Say, well, no. I was mentioning you can work on 2 at a time. So maybe you say that one for 30 seconds. Like 30 seconds is a long time. You probably say that affirmation like 15 times. But if you give yourself, your brain, a whole list, it doesn't know which one to, right? So if there's somewhere else in your life that you want a little checkup from the neck up, just follow the principle of you have to use a small statement. It's like your job. It's like let's say you have a hang up a call your dad, like a bug in the you put instruction for the cat. You give the answer, obviously. You say, I love how I love it when I play. The affirmation is always obvious. Not being good with have, or let's say we teach the call your problems Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That's a lot of calling my leads. Rethink the good self-talk. So you say, I'll call my leads.
No, but that's how much stuff
So
I
the
had.
affirmation is always
Right, because I was just tired. So
the mental side of that. Yes, free parking.
Yeah, just a little bit south of.
We've held,
7 on that.
this is extreme event 8. So we've held the other 7 at the International Plaza. But we have a question on the back of the book, and last year, people complained about they had to pay $10 for parking. I'm like, I don't get that, but okay, whatever. So we switched to free
They'll
parking.
just love to complain.
That's how, that's like a poverty mindset.
Are you paying? Are you paying?
I actually owe you $30.
You're so honest.
I know.
I
I
thought
know.
you
I
were
know.
gonna pay my parking.
I'm honest.
I am, I'm paying for parking. Parking's free.
Yeah, I just thought about that. I need to bring, and I remember in the morning that I need.
Good. You're probably
Because I usually don't have any
You're
cash.
not
in
the
my-
only one. There's about $1,000 missing in the box, but.
But you're the best one.
So far, that's $30.
No, I don't like.
Yeah, whatever. Life's not gonna be a whole lot different with or without it, but it's all good.
There was that moment where I kind of finished.
Yeah,
Actually, you said
A little bit short, I would say.
Well, you know why?
I was surprised, it was like 10 minutes.
Well, because
Didn't pop by.
the first CD we made was the 50 plus, which is 45 minutes. And then we got a lot of feedback, it was too long. So we did some research into it to discuss it today. We really got it from 10 to 15 minutes. And it's realistic, otherwise we'll never see the back half. It's the same as the book, because I'm known in real estate, but that's not a real estate book, so I'm not known in that field. So if you're not known, 125 pages is right now, it's right size. I could have wrote a bigger book, but the real estate book I'm writing will be bigger because I'm known in real estate. People pick it up, they don't know me, and they go, I'm not, that's the right size. Right? Well, that's not that big, I can fit it. That's why it's that size. And so the CDs for realtors listening, starting to be 10, 15 minutes. Get to the point, it's the point of it all. Well, except
Very
for 5 minutes,
positive, actually.
except for 5 minutes before. It's 5 minutes.
I love the part that you have to repeat. It's a good part. You have to repeat what someday and euro or something like that.
I just wanted to say about negative thoughts actually. I had this experience in my life. Once I was working to my I'm from Russia and I was working as a realtor actually. And I was working and there was a like model, but it was frozen model. And I was going through and I thought, oh my goodness, I will fail. And you know what? I failed. Next time I was going to the same routine, and I came to the puddle and I said to myself, and again that thought again came to my mind, you will fail again, and I thought why I should, and I stopped my thought there, and since then whatever I would go through that puddle I would never fail. And now this is my actually approach all the time. Whatever I have a like negative thought, particularly when I'm driving, like or if something happened, and another I would stop that thought and say why it should like happen something. There should be everything should be okay. That's how I try to control my thoughts.
Because that is the way it is.
Yeah, because that's my
No, you are correct.
experience.
You are correct. I'm gonna get some more water before we start. You sat in seat 1A, no, 1B. 1A. No, but here's the thing, I do know. Just follow what I'm telling you, man. It's not, you're like, you're the person number like 5,000 we fixed.
I wasn't asking because I didn't think you did. I'm just curious. Yes. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
what? Are you coming to the event?
Yeah.
I sold it for $10. Saw them at the event for $10.
Oh, fine.
Yeah.
Where is it located, like seminar?
I'll tell everybody. La Park Convention Center. I'll tell everybody.
The park, it's on
7 and 404.
744.
Not Jane.
Yes.
7 and 404. Not 400.
Exactly.
Like Woodbine and 7 and 404.
From 10 till 4, right? From 10 till 4 o'clock?
It's 404 and 7 in Leslie.
What time is it? From
9
10?
to 4.
9 to 4.
Registration's 8 to 9. Okay, kids, let's go.
Did you just get here? Don't worry, you didn't miss anything. Just like the most important part. I guess better get the second half than none at all. Some of you are asking me where the event is tomorrow. La Park Convention Center, 404 and 7 area. 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock is registration. You have to get your workbook and you have to get your name badge and stuff. Now, you know, guys and gals, at 9 o'clock, there'll be like 400 people in the lineup to register. You know that. Get there 8 o'clock, 8:30, get registered, get a good seat. You know what always kills me about our events we do? I see these people coming in around 9:45, 9:30, hour late, and at the break they say to me, "Oh man, traffic this morning." You didn't see that coming? Like, that surprised you? You ever notice when you go to an event, there's always a truck rolled over with sand all over the 401 or something like that? It's probably gonna happen tomorrow. So get up there early, go get registered, go breakfast or whatever. Like, at 9 o'clock, don't get mad at me if the line's like got 300 people in it. It's 9 o'clock. That's the way realtors roll, yes? The first session, by the way, is sales dialogue, the art of dialogue, what to say. So that's a really important, that's not on the CD. Just the talk on the 10 success principles is on the CD, which is 5 of the 8 sessions. So that's the first session, is the art of dialogue. It's, and Danny Macedo, one of our great coaches, he's gonna be doing that talk. Okay, so now you know, 9 to 4, it was your question. Are you texting Carissa? Because if you've already done that, you don't need to do that. 9 to 4, hey guys, we won't go over. I'm always conscious of time. We might stop a bit early, I don't know, 3:30, 3:45, but we will not run over for sure. 9 o'clock to 4 o'clock tomorrow. Okay, a couple asked these types of questions. So we had a new client join the other day and they sent me their affirmations. There's like 50 of them. These are my affirmations. Well, that's a little confusing for the engine room. You know what I'm talking about, engine room? Say no, because you don't. You have like no idea what I'm talking about. The subconscious mind, you give it 50 things, how can it latch onto something? So I'm sure you might be in the water in a whole bunch of areas, but you can only fix 2 or 3 at a time, or 1. So, for example, sometimes people say to me, "Well, what are your affirmations?" I'll just say them. Why, are you in the water the same place as I am? Why would you say my affirmations? You have to figure out where you're in the water. So for a realtor, lead generation would be a bad place to be in the water, yes or no? Yes or no? Yes. If you have a hang up about calling your number 1 pillar, your past client center of influence, that would be a bad place to be in the water. If you're thinking, yeah, but I call those guys, I feel like I'm bugging them or begging for business, that would be a bad place to be in the water. So think of logical ones you want to get on the beach. So, but only 2, maybe 3 at a time. And work with them for a month, month and a half, 40 days to get them fixed, and then do another 2 or 3. Don't confuse the subconscious mind. Give it some very specific things to work on. Like, so you drive, when you leave here, you drive alone in your car. I love making my calls, it's so much fun. I love making my calls, it's so much fun. I love making my calls, it's so much fun. Say that 10 times for 30 seconds. And then say, my database, they love it when I call. They love talking to me. My database, they love it when I call. They love talking to me. The affirmation is always obvious for which one to say, what to say. And just for 1 minute, say them 30 times each. And then, by that time, you're out to the construction. But I think all of Newmarket is in their construction right now. Past like, from the 404 to here, there's like 9 little construction things. And like the whole place, is like, they must have tons of tax money, yes?
Yes.
They have a lot of extra money in this city, I guess. So that's how you do that. It's as simple as that. And then once you get to the beach, you'll know when you get there. You wake up in the morning, you go, I can't wait to make my calls. It's exciting. And then you finish your session, you go, I'm so energized right now. You'll know you're there. Stop. Go to fix some others, because you will stay here forever. When you get here, you would have to think negatively about prospecting for a period of time. Why would you ever do that again? You would never do that again. As soon as you have a negative thought, you don't go right back to the water. It's called, this doesn't exist anymore. You'd have to do it on a regular basis. It's if you, once you're here, you visualize a basketball and a baseball. The basketball is bigger, yes? That's your positive thoughts on this, and this is your negative thoughts. You stay here. As long as the negative thoughts aren't bigger than the positive thoughts, you stay here. Like right now, in the water, you got a basketball and a golf ball. You understand? You can think positively about prospecting periodically, but you're still staying in the water because this one's bigger. You understand? Once you get there, just follow that concept. You'll never be back here again, ever. Once you fix 2 or 3, work on fixing a few others, and fix a few others, and fix a few others, and fix a few others. Okay, so I'm going to give you what I think is the best way to view lead generation. So write this down, please. I'm just milling around in my pillars. I'm just milling around in my pillars. That's what you're doing. That's all you're doing. I pop into phase 3 class periodically. If I'm in the York Mills, Don Mills area and I got a gap between seminars and I got nothing to do for a couple hours. Did I pop into your class, anybody? Okay, because I do it fairly regular, it's possible. And so I don't say I'm coming there, but I know the instructors. And so they're just instructing their 30, 40 people, and I pop in, they always go, oh, this will be fun. Because Rob owns a real estate coaching and training company, so you can talk to them for a few minutes. And he just takes a break, or she takes a break, and I talk to them for a couple minutes. They always introduce me as like a motivational speaker, which I'm not, this is tactical. However, the next 2 days will be kind of like that. And so I say to the group, now listen carefully, I say to the group, in 2 years, only 20% of you will still have a license. And then they look at me like, I thought this was the motivational guy. What's that all about?
Not positive.
Well, it's because they won't get their head around what we're talking about today. You guys understand that? And 60, 70, 80, 100 leads aren't going to find them. They get out of the business. It's as simple as that, because positive people, we carry this negative spin into our career. And the truth is, they will never get that train out of the station. And eventually they'll pack it in. And so, just last week I was there, and a young guy put his hand up. I was very impressed. I know he's 23. He looked very young. I asked him later how old he was. He's 23, and he's wearing a suit to phase 3. That was kind of impressive. And he put up his hand, and he said, does your company teach cold calling? Now, you know, guys and gals, with a phrase like that, there's an L there, yes or no? You wouldn't use those words or say it that way. And I said, no, our company does not teach cold calling. And he said, good, because I don't want to call anybody. I said, well, I didn't say that. I said, we don't teach cold calling. You guys understand that? And so I said to him, what we need to do is choose pillars. I mean, by the way, being a realtor and don't want to talk to anybody is like applying for lifeguard, but you don't know how to swim. That's what that is. I'd like to apply for the lifeguard job. Okay, how about what kind of levels do you have in your swimming? No, I'm petrified of water. I don't think lifeguard's for you then. I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't think sales is for you. There could be people in this room, don't get mad at me, you might be misemployed. Maybe you don't like to talk to people. 60, 80, 100 leads aren't finding you. That's not the way it's going to go. Realtors are in that zone. What they do is because you know you need leads, so you advertise a lot to buy them instead of prospect and earn them, and then you run out of money. You act something else. That's how that goes. And so if you're not into being a little social and talking to people, you're probably sales is not the best suit. Now, if you decide to sign up for this, I'm assuming that you are okay with this, otherwise you wouldn't, at least to learn how to do it correctly. And so what you wrote down is the best way to view lead generation. We have 6 pillars, yes or no? You've all chosen 3, yes? That's all you're doing, you're just milling around in the pillars that you chose. So I said to this young guy, so you don't like prospecting? And he said, no, I would not like that. I said, well, first of all, you're not even a realtor yet. You've already decided that? Like you're bringing this into your career. So I said to the group, it's kind of like this room, this part. Who else hates prospecting? They'll put 80% put their hand up. This is phase 3. How have you already determined this? You haven't even done it yet. You have no idea how much fun it's gonna be. No, I'm afraid of it. Okay. And so I said to this 23-year-old guy, okay, You don't know this yet, but when you get a real estate license, what's gonna happen is this. Every listing you take, within 10 days, another one will pop up on the street. You guys know that's true, yes? Yes or no? Think about that. So you go get your next listing. You walk down to the end of the road, you're parked right there. You got the listing in your folder. You've already said goodbye. You should stop at the end of the driveway. You should look to your right and say, look, I don't know if it's over here, or I don't know if, just make sure they're not looking out the window. Just look back first, because they're like, not sure who we chose here. But someone that can see the sign. The next 10 days to 14 days, another listing will pop up, yes or no? Yes or no, guys and gals? It's not that someone else on the street looks at your sign and goes, you know what we should do? We should make a life-changing experience also. That's what we should do. Our planet doesn't have a problem with procrastination. It's an epidemic. And so I guarantee you the next listing you take, someone that can see that sign needs to put their home on the market, and your sign will jolt them out of procrastination, and sometimes they'll call you. Now, should you go try to find that other one, yes or no?
Yeah.
Who likes fishing here? Well, if the two of us went to my lake fishing, the three of us, which would be weird on several levels, I realize that. But if we did, in my lake, there are lots of fish. But fish aren't like people. They don't see the bait and go, I really shouldn't. I've been eating a lot lately. That's not what it is with fish. I don't even know the bait tastes good. They just instinctively eat. And so we fish in my lake for a couple hours, we don't catch anything. Then we drift by this island and you catch a fish. Should we poke around that island a bit more before we move, yes or no?
Yes.
You don't have to be a fisherman or a fisher lady to know that you should do that. So I said to this 23-year-old guy, so your first listing you take, I'm telling you this is gonna happen. So you should poke around and find the fish. I said, can you do that? He goes, I can do that. Okay, good, because that's one of our pillars. And I said to him, so, you know, you've heard of open houses. I'm planning on doing them. Okay. They happen Sunday between 2 and 4 mostly, or Saturday 2 to 4. Could you go there a bit early, maybe 12 o'clock, put up your signs, turn on the lights, turn the music on, lock the door, put a note on the door. I'm working in the neighborhood, I'll be back at 2, and then go talk to the neighbors, because I can do that. That's one of our pillars. So for the sake of time today, I'm not gonna do this, but I walked him through what we consider prospecting in each of our pillars. You understand that? And he said 6 times, I can do that, 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 I can do that. And I said, well, apparently you're okay with prospecting. Because prospecting is just milling around in the pillars that you chose, yes or no? And then I said to him, by the way, you use the term cold calling, you should never use that again. Not from a mindset point of view, it just doesn't exist anymore. It hasn't existed for 25 years. Who's been licensed here from the 80s? Okay, well, in the 80s, we cold called because 1980s is pre-everything. The first piece of tech was a fax machine, 1990. So now we have tech for everything. I remember, do you remember the fax machine showing up at the office, Bila? You remember that? I remember the broker having the training. All right, we're gonna show you how to send a fax. So everyone's standing around, he dials it and he puts it in. And it went like this. Grr, grr. Grr. Literally looked like 4 minutes to go through. And then it fell out. And then one of our agents said, it didn't go. And the broker said, no, it went. We still have it. I know it's complicated. See, right now you have tech, you're so used to tech, but then not so much. So honestly, younger people, you wouldn't believe this, but I would say for about 2 years, every fax you sent, you called them. Did you get the fax? You called them, you got your hand. Bila, did you get the fax?
Yeah.
Yes or no?
Yes.
You got it? I have it too? Okay. A little confusing for us. We both have it. And so in the 1980s, there wasn't any tech. We cold called. So my first year, 1987, I cold called out of the phone book. That's what we did. And so I called all of Ajax in 1987. That is cold calling, yes or no? So for a whole month, it went like this. Is this Mr. Smith? Is this Mrs. Smith? Is this Mr. Smith? Mr. Smith, Mrs. Smith, Mr. Smith, Mr. Smith, Mrs. Smith, Mr. Smith, Mrs. Smith. For a month. And then someone said, you're actually thinking of moving. And you look at their address. That's what realtors did for like 80 years, yes or no? And that was it, that was cold calling. Now, we've come so far. I just want you to mill around in the pillars that you chose. You should never use the term cold calling again. A, it sends your mind in a weird direction, and it doesn't exist anyways. It's beyond just the semantics of it. So I said to the young guy, you're 23, so cold calling hasn't existed since 3 years before you were born. Should never use that term again. I'm surprised it still exists. We did cold call at one time. That is clearly not what we're doing right now. If you have a geographical farm, can you get in there and mill around and talk to those people that get your flyers, yes or no?
Yes.
You call that cold calling, seriously? Cold calling does not exist anymore. The healthiest way to view lead generation, finding the 60 that aren't gonna find you, is I'm just milling around in the pillars that I chose. I had a very interesting conversation with one of our coaching clients last night. And she said this to me, I just had a weird experience. In my office, because she makes her calls Monday to Friday, 9 to 11, which I'll deal with in a few minutes. She said, one of the agents said in the lunchroom, I see you're into the cold calling. And she said, you know, I wasn't offended, but I almost was. Because I said to him, I'm not cold calling. And he said, I see you cold calling, because their office is mostly glass. And he said, I see you cold calling there with your headset on. She goes, no, I'm not cold calling. I'm calling in the pillars that I chose. I'm building something. And so she goes, I'm calling you to tell you it's weird because I wasn't offended by it, but I almost felt like I almost was. That he would be thinking that's all that I'm doing. You guys clear on this? I'm just asking you to make calls in the pillars that you chose. Write this next thing down, please. And I'm going to teach you now why your prospecting isn't as cordial as you'd like it to be. Write down the 12-second rule. The 12-second rule. This is conditioning. So you go home tonight and there's a rap at your door, 8 o'clock, and you open the door and there's a young guy, he's got a tag on his thing there, plastic, and he says, we're here to replace your water heater. You're like, I don't think so, bless you. Yes or no? Yeah. Not on the bless you, it's yes on the bless you. You're a little apprehensive of that at the door, yes or no? Because we're conditioned to be apprehensive of that. You guys understand that? In psychology, there's something called everyone is defending from no one who is attacking on a subconscious level. So you're making calls or door knocking to people you don't know. When they pick up the phone or they're at the front door, there's a little invisible brick wall right there that you have to break down. You understand that? And if you don't break it down, they will say, I'm not interested, even if they are. And I'll show you how to do this, and I'll show you what this 12-second rule means. And this is why you've knocked on a door maybe before, you like door knocking, and you talk to someone, they say, no, we're not interested in moving. And then you leave, and then the spouse says, who was that? It was a realtor. What did they want? They wanted to know if we're thinking of moving. What did you say? I said no. Why did you say no when we are? I don't know. I'm not going to run down the street after you to get you. But then they list. And then the realtors say, I talked to those people, buyers are liars and sellers are liars too. In fact, you triggered something in them, an automatic no. You guys understand that? And the 12-second rule works like this. There are a lot of things I'm going to teach you that you're going to have to work on a little bit, but this isn't one of them. This thing I'm going to teach you now, you will sort this out in 20 minutes of your next. The first 20 minutes of your next prospecting session, you'll have this sorted out. This one's easy. When I teach you in the future how to handle objections correctly so that their brain is, I want to agree with you. You're gonna have to work on that technique a little bit, but this one isn't like that. This one you will literally sort out in 20 minutes. 4 or 5 calls, you'll have this sorted out, and you'll have it forever. The 12-second rule works like this. When you talk to them on the phone or at the door, if you talk for 12 seconds in a row in the first minute, they'll say no, even if it's a yes. So you cannot talk for 12 seconds in a row. If they say something, you start back at 0 again. You understand that? And so I think realtors kind of know this because you know that they say no at a certain time, so you talk faster to try to get more in before you get cut off. Yes or no? Yes or no? And so when you're talking faster, that's a double bad thing, because when you're speaking to people, their ear hears what you say, the subconscious mind picks up something totally different. So if you're a salesperson and you are talking faster to get more in this 12 seconds where you get cut off, what message do you think it sends to their brain when the salesperson is talking fast? What's that?
You want to get it ordered done.
It's this. Careful, careful. Fast talking salesperson. Careful, careful. Swindler. he's the fast talking salesperson. You understand that? If a salesperson talks fast, their subconscious mind alerts them, careful, careful, fast talking salesperson. If a salesperson talks too slow, uneducated. So, like I do seminars in the South, and your brain does this automatically. You can't help it. Like what I've talked to you guys in the first hour, that's a full day down there. Like I'm like, so we're gonna talk today on. They're like, you slow it down? Seriously? No. Like I talk fast, yes? Like it's really hard for me to go to the South. And they say things that I have no idea what it means. I'd love to stay for your whole seminar, but I'm fixing to carry. You know what that means? I have to go somewhere. I'm fixing to carry. Weird stuff. So let me show you. Now listen carefully. I'll show you the wrong call. Okay. Does anyone have you have a second hand on your? You do have a second hand? Okay. So I want you to say stop.
Stop.
Louder.
Stop.
Louder.
Stop.
Louder.
Stop.
That's the same. Say it louder.
Stop.
Thank you. And so pretend I'm calling you and watch when he says stop, you'll see I wanted to end the conversation. You understand that? So I'll do it incorrectly. I'll talk for 12 seconds and you will see that's where they cut you off. You guys clear on this? And then I'll show you how to do it correctly. So if you don't trigger that automatic mechanism, then you will get to the end and they will say, no, but thanks for calling. No, but thanks for calling. No, but thanks for calling. No, I haven't started yet. I'm still explaining. No, but thanks for calling. No, but thanks for stopping by. It'll be cordial. You understand that? So it's 12 seconds in a row. So I will call you and I'll say, hi, it's Rob Vivian from C21 Heritage. How you doing today? And you'll say, fine. You understand that? And then, because you said fine, I start at 0. You clear on that? So when we start back at 0, I'll talk and you say stop at 12-second mark, which is the mistake you're making right now. And you're triggering the automatic no. You can never get a yes out of this. So ring, ring. Sorry, what is your name again?
Michael. Michael.
Michael, I did know that. Ring, ring.
Hello?
Hi, is this Michael?
Yes.
You ready for your watch?
Yes.
Hi, Michael. It's Rob Vivian from C21 Heritage. How you doing today?
Very well.
Excellent. Start now. Hi, Michael. I just wanted to give you a call. I have a listing down the street from you. It's a 4-bedroom. It has a finished basement, and we had 3 offers on the property. It was listed at $599, and then so.
Stop.
Because I talked for 12 seconds. You guys understand that? And that's how it will never work for you that way. And because you kind of know that, if you prospected, you talk faster now because you want to finish. You understand? You guys clear on this?
Yeah.
And so all that you have to do, this 12-second rule only applies for the first minute only. That little imaginary brick wall, if I adhere to the 12-second rule, Michael will not cut me off, and then I've eliminated the little brick wall. And if after Michael asks me a question, the 12-second rule no longer applies. So do you have a second hand on your watch? Okay, so you time it. Can you say stop?
Yes, stop.
See, that's good. See that, Michael? Wrestle like that? Okay, I'm gonna give you the correct call. And what I need to do is, as soon as Michael says something, I go back to 0. You guys, you understand that? So only say stop if I talk for 12 seconds in a row. As soon as Michael says something, I go back to 0. You understand that? So I'll show you how to make this something a little more interactive. But guys and gals, believe me when I tell you, you take this to your next prospecting session and watch a clock, you'll sort this out in like 20 minutes and you'll have it forever. So ring, ring.
Hello?
Okay, so hold on a sec. Let's pretend I'm calling where the buzz is. Something just sold quickly. And you know we've taught you that if you call where something came on the market and sold in less than a week, there's a buzz on the street, yes? I'll use that as an example. So ring, ring.
Hello?
Hi, is this Michael?
Yes.
Oh, hi, Michael. It's Rob Vivian from Central 21 Heritage. How you doing today?
Very well, thank you.
Awesome. The reason for my call, Michael, you probably noticed that homes are selling very quickly on your street. Did you
Yes.
see 47?
Yes.
Yeah. Sold in 2 days, right?
Yes.
Yep. A lot of buyers, Michael, wanted to get into that one. They did not get in time, and they're watching this. No, you did it wrong. You didn't go back to 0. No, you didn't. I said it sold in 2 days, right? And he said yes. Then I went back to 0. Okay, I'm giving you another chance, though. Okay? Hey, look it. Guys, listen to me. As long as air goes over their vocal cords, you start back at 0. Okay? They just have to make a noise of some sort. They can even grunt. So, how are you doing today? Why do I care how he's doing today? And I'm not asking to find out how he's doing today. I just need to go back to 0. You understand that? Number 47 sold quickly. Did you notice the sign? I don't care if you notice the sign. I have to start back at 0 again. He goes, I didn't notice the sign. It sold in 2 days. And he goes, yeah, 2 days. I have to go back to 0. For this first minute, if I can adhere to the 12-second rule, I wipe out that small imaginary bricks, which this is 1 in 35 for a lead. So 34 to 35 are still known, but cordially. You understand that? You want another chance? If Michael says something, a noise of any sort, I go back to 0. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hi, is this Michael?
Yes.
Hi, Michael. It's Rob Vivian from C21 Heritage. How you doing today?
Very well, thank you.
Awesome. The reason for my call, Michael, is you probably noticed that homes are selling very quickly on your street.
Yes.
You notice number 47?
Yes.
You had 2 days and sold, right?
Yes.
Yep. There's a lot of buyers, Michael, wanted to get into that one and did not get in time and are watching the street. So if you had a buyer, would you consider selling?
No.
Okay, well listen, I appreciate your time. Have an awesome day. If that's how your prospecting went, nobody would be stressed. You understand that? You're just not adhering to the 12-second rule. Now it's gone now, which means, guys and gals, listen to me. In this little interchange in the first minute, I didn't bring into any of the data of the property into the talk. I didn't talk about the 4 bedrooms or went over. If you bring that into here, you're never going to be able to adhere to the 12-second rule. So let's just say this property was listed at $599 and sold for $700, $100,000 over. He's not interested, right? Okay, thanks for your time. He doesn't get to know that from me. You can't bring the data of the property into this part, that first minute, or you'll never adhere to the 12-second rule. Who likes door knocking? Okay, listen to me. It applies at the door as well. So this side of the room. Who on this side likes door knocking? Okay, good, that's better. So this applies at the door as well. So at the door, because at the door in human behavior, there's a lot more on the line right now. So on the phone, nothing on the line. So if you talk for 12 seconds without them making a noise of some sort, in the first minute, they will say, I'm not interested, even if they are. And it'll be frustrating for you. But at the door, when you open the door, they're there, yes? So door knockers, how often do people slam the door in your face? Well, never. I've never had it. I've knocked 10,000 doors. Sometimes you get people, it's not a good time for them, I get that. But people are overwhelmingly polite at the door, yes or no? Like I've knocked 10,000 doors, way more. I prefer door knocking over the phone. I'm proficient with both. So I've knocked thousands and thousands of doors. People are friendly at the door. Because they're there, there's more on the line. But do this as a little experiment. It's only one door. If you talk for 12 seconds at the door, it still happens, except at the 12-second mark, they shift their weight and look past you. So at the 12-second mark, they go, it's still over for you, it's just that they can't hang up. You did it wrong. It applies to the door as well. So you want to have that same interaction. Just practice it. Like guys and gals, listen, 12 seconds is a pretty big chunk of time. It's from now to now. So you cannot talk for more than that in the first minute only. You understand that? So once you do that, and then the person says, which in this case is 34 out of 35 or no, it's like, we're not interested. I say, hey, listen, thanks for your time. Have an awesome day. How cordial is that? Or at the door, we're not interested. It's pointless right now if you're following a system from the 70s or 80s. Well, when you bought here, why did you pick this area? What are you doing here? There's nothing here. Are you thinking of moving, yes or no? Move along. Don't make something out of nothing. There's nothing here. Hey, listen, thanks for your time. Appreciate it. If you're door knocking, have an awesome day. Go to the next one. You don't have to give them something. See, if you're nervous to door knock because you're in the water, what you'll do is this. Because you're nervous, you'll like, you know what I should do? I should make flyers. I should deliver the flyers first and then follow up the flyer. Like you think somehow that making the flyer and distributing that in advance cushions your knock on the door or something. Yes or no, guys and gals? If you're on the beach with lead generation, it's like uninhibited. I have a rule. Josh, my son, still has this rule. He's of course sells for Century 21, of course. And so all my career, because I'm not in the water with lead generation, I'm there. I would say to all buyers I've ever taken out, okay, we're gonna look at these 4. If we pass by any for sale by owners, private sales, we'll stop and we'll ask how much it is. And they go, okay, it's fun for them. And you're driving around, because you encountered them. And they say, there's a for sale by owner. Okay, let's pull over here. And you pull up. Now, if you're in the water, you cannot do this. if you're in the water with FSBOs, you pull up in front of a FSBO, you look at their sign, and then you think, you know what I should do? I should mail them a letter, and then I should call them about a week, follow up that letter. That's what you would do if you're in the water, you understand that? So, buyers are there, walk up, knock on the door, knock, knock, knock. The for sale, now if you're in the water, don't be home, don't be home, don't be home, don't be home. The for sale owner answers the door and say, hi, Rob Vivian from C21 Heritage, how you doing today? I point to their sign. I see you're in the real estate business, congratulations, welcome. You're part-time, full-time. Because you should always joke, yes or no? And then you say, listen, I have some buyers, you point to the car, which is always very cute because you both look at the car and the buyers are always doing this. It's actually really cute. And you're back here. Okay, anyways, how much are you asking? They go 800. Oh, these buyers are in the 650 range. Here's my card, I'll stay in touch. They go, great, walk away. Could you have made a better first impression with a FSBO, yes or no? Yes or no? As good as it gets. Can't do that if you're in the water. In the water is all inhibited in everything. Beach, uninhibited. You understand that? So once you get out there, you're gonna see how fantastic, how much fun you can have with prospecting. You can't right now if you have an L, I get that, but later you can. Simple as that. And it's fun for the buyers too. Yes or no? And then you go back. Well, it's like love it or list it. You know, what do you think the home's priced at? You guys know those shows? Well, I think that one's about $850. I think that was like $1 million too. That one's $899. Oh, let's find another one. I mean, the buyers like this so much. I'm showing buyers. They say they're looking down every street, looking for FSBOs. I saw one down there, Rob. They don't want to buy it. They just want to play the game. You understand that? But you can't do anything like that in the water. You guys clear on this? Yes or no? Okay. So I'd like you to write down this next thing. This is the other thing I want to teach you today, which won't help you in the water. I get that. But when you get out, it will. Write down what to say when someone says we're thinking of moving. What to say when someone says they're thinking of moving. Because that's going to happen and you're not supposed to sound surprised. What to say. So you're making some calls, some door knocking in the pillars you chose, not complicated. And someone says, yeah, we're actually thinking of moving. You're not supposed to go, really? Seriously. I'm going to call you back. You go, listen to that CD. And so, because it's going to happen. Not every day, but we teach 8 weeks vacation, yes or no? And so that's 220 days of work. If someone said yes 220 times, that would be insane. How many deals would that be? You guys are doing the math. 55. So you don't need to do that. That's not most of your goal. If you got a lead if someone said, yeah, we're thinking of moving every other day, that would be like 27 deals generated just from your lead generation, but beyond what other stuff comes to you. If someone said yes every third day, even if you got somebody once a week, you prospect 5 days, and once a week, someone says we're thinking of moving, you'd add 10 or 12 deals to what you're already doing. That's pretty significant. So you'd be adding $150,000 to your income by allocating a couple hours to milling around in your pillars. That's pretty significant. And I think your ratio would be way better than 1 a week, but that's what that would be. And so listen carefully. So when they say, yeah, we actually are thinking of moving. Now listen carefully, because what the realtor wants to say now cannot work. So what the realtor usually says is, well, Michael, I could prepare a comparative market analysis, come over, sit down with you, go over things, and help you make a good decision. Yes? Yes or no? Yes. That is not hard to say yes to. That is impossible to say yes to. They cannot say yes to that. Matter of fact, what they would say is, no, I just want to know what you sold it for. I can't talk now, I gotta speak to my wife, I gotta speak to my husband. It's not a good time, call me later. That is impossible to say yes to. There's something in the brain called the law of reciprocation, where whatever people do to you, you reciprocate. So think about it. I'm prospecting, I get Michael. I don't know him, obviously. And he says he's thinking of moving. And I say, I'll do this, and this for you. Their brain's gonna go, no. If you do that for me, I'm gonna feel obligated. I don't wanna feel obligated. I'll have to reciprocate. So no, I'm fine. It's the same principle when you go to trade shows, you're walking down and people try to lure to your booth. No. I don't wanna fill anything out, I'll feel obligated. You understand that? It's the same principle. So whatever you do, they'll have to reciprocate. So because they don't know you, they will not be comfortable with that. That isn't hard to say yes to, that is impossible to say yes to. you activated something in their brain called the law of reciprocation. If you do that work for me, now here's the thing, listen to me guys and gals. The statement that you made there, I'll prepare a comparative market analysis, come over, sit down, you go over things, help make a good decision. It comes from a pure motive on your part and a good attribute, quite frankly, because you're willing to do this work on the chance they might choose you, yes or no? So it comes from a good area, but they cannot say yes to it. It's impossible. And because they start pushing back, because they're like, no, if you do, they're not going to say this. No, if you do that for me and I don't know you, I'm going to feel obligated. I don't want to feel obligated to you at this point. They won't say that. They will say, no, I just want to know the price you sold for. I got to speak to my husband, I got to speak to my wife. Now, in your mind's eye, visualize we're all at my cottage, okay? And it's a quiet night, midnight, the water is dead calm. We go down and we unhook one of the boats and we give it a push. It keeps drifting, yes? Yes or no?
Yes.
So when you said it that way and activated the law of reciprocation and they were, no, and then you get off the phone and now they're in lead follow-up. But because when they got off the phone, they were moving, they keep moving. And then they don't take your call. Then they don't take your call. 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 And eventually you cycle them. And you think your lead follow-up is a problem. It isn't. It's here you chose the wrong words and activated the law of reciprocation. What you needed to do was choose words that have the wave slightly butting the boat up to the dock. You understand that? So what you should have said is this. Now listen carefully. Because you know you have to book it now, but you can't make it sound like you're willing to do this work for them, otherwise they can't say yes to that. So you have to pretend that you're already going to be in their neighborhood. You understand that? And then their mind's going to say, well, he's going to be here anyways. If he's going to be here anyways, we might as well pop in. So I'm calling and Michael says, I'm thinking of moving. So I need to book it now. I'm going to get a little bit more data, but ultimately I need to book it, yes or no?
Yes.
Then I'm going to say it this way, so listen carefully. You don't have to write it down, you'll get it. Michael, now stop, let me back up. Before I start my prospecting session, I'm going to look on my calendar and decide where I'd like to book myself. You understand that? You guys and gals know that I'm never going to cancel a family function for anything real estate connected. You know that, right? I mean, I play hockey 4 times a week. Do you have an idea in almost 30 years of selling how many hockey games I've missed for an offer or a listing? How many do you think?
0.
Say 0, because it would be 0. I would never do that. Life is first. I have an awesome life, and I have a business. I fit the business into my awesome life. Not, I have a business and I try to fit my life into my business. That is backwards. That is not the way to do it. If you're doing that, it's just because you haven't found the appropriate amount of leads for a number of months in a row yet. Once you do, you make all the rules. Not arrogantly, it's just that you have a life, which is more important than your business, yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. So I start my session here. I have a family function Friday night, so I'm not gonna book myself there. I would like to book myself like Thursday night or Saturday morning. I'm free those 2 times. I might as well decide this before I make my first call, because what if someone says yes? It's gonna happen every day, every other day, every 3rd day probably. And so Michael says yes. And so now I have to gather some more data, I have to book it, but I need to be careful not to activate the law of reciprocation. You guys clear on this? So it sounds like this. Well, so Michael, as it turns out, I'm gonna be in your neighborhood Thursday night, wrapping up about 8. I'll be there again Saturday morning, wrapping up about 10. So seeing as I'll be in the neighborhood anyways, I don't mind popping in and answering any questions you have about your home. They're like, okay, well, how about Saturday at 10 then? See, I chose words that were easy to say yes to. You guys understand that? And now there's a little current. So when we book it at 10, and if I was to call him to confirm it, he sees my number, picks up right away, hey Rob, because the boat is being buffeted up against the dock. That's how we left it when we hung up. You guys clear on this? So imagine if it's a condo. You say, as it turns out, I'm gonna be in your building Thursday night, wrapping up about 8. I'll be there again Saturday morning. So I'm gonna be in the building anyways. I don't mind getting off on your floor. The brain is like, okay, you're gonna be here anyways. That's awesome. Choosing words that are easy to say yes to, and I'm not activating the law of reciprocation. You guys understand that? Yes or no? And so they would choose one of them. So Michael say, Saturday morning at 10 will be awesome.
Saturday morning 10 would be perfect.
Now listen carefully. I said pop in. Like I used a word on purpose. I'm gonna be in your neighborhood this day and this day. I could pop in. I don't know what, the subconscious mind thinks you just go poof, and you're there. It doesn't take it as a sit-down meeting with all sorts of commitment connected to it. You understand that? That's the way you have to be to book it. But once we say 10 o'clock, now listen carefully. See, here, I can prepare a comparative market analysis, sit down, go over things with you, help make a good decision, is impossible to say yes to. I say, I'm gonna be in your neighborhood here and here. I could pop and answer your questions. He goes, okay, here. This is literally 20 seconds later. Listen carefully. Don't write anything down yet because you got to get this. The way the brain works now is because you said Saturday at 10, right? So now we have an appointment, yes or no? Now they want that dialogue. The dialogue that they could not say yes to 20 seconds ago, impossible, they actually want now. So I say, well, I'm going to be in your neighborhood Thursday night, wrapping up about 8, because that's my schedule. You understand that? Why would I not pre-think that? Well, I only have Friday night. Oh, can't go to another family function. You shouldn't live like that. There's no way you should be doing that. So Thursday night wrapping up at 8, Saturday morning again at 10. I'm going to be in the neighborhood anyway, so which one's the best time to pop in and answer any questions?
Saturday morning.
Saturday morning at 10? Okay. Now I have an appointment, yes? So now I say this. So, all right, so Saturday at 10. So I know that you're busy, Michael, so I'll prepare a proper comparative market analysis. We'll sit down, go over things, and help you make a great decision. They say, that'd be amazing. The same dialogue that could not work 20 seconds ago, they want now because we've agreed to see. You guys clear on that? So when people say yes to your prospecting, you got to book it without activating the law of reciprocation. People say to me all the time, how can I improve my lead follow-up? Don't put people there. Don't put people there. Like if I can't book this, my next call to Michael is lead follow-up, yes or no? Well, he's avoiding lead follow-up. I've got an appointment at Saturday. If you want to be better at lead follow-up, don't put people there so easily. Talk correctly to people. You got to think about this law of reciprocation. It's going to come up in future training that we have because we build our brain. We're really knowledgeable with the brain. And so we build scripts and dialogues around how the brain works. So I did not activate the law of reciprocation. He doesn't feel obligated. His mind's thinking this guy's going to be here anyways. Might as well have him pop in. And then when we hang up, the boat's buffeting up against the dock. And then I call him Friday. Hey, what's up, Rob? I'm just confirming our 10 o'clock. Yep, we're good. Did you get those things ready that I needed? Yep, we're all good to go here. That's the difference between the boat drifting. When someone says yes to they're thinking of moving to your prospecting, you cannot say anything connected to you doing work for them. Even though you're willing to. You just cannot say that because that isn't hard to say yes to. It is absolutely impossible to say yes to. I know you've all had this before. You get a sign call and they say, we live down the street. That's the fish. We're thinking of moving also. And you say, oh, where are you guys moving to? Nope, I didn't say we're moving for sure. You ask too directly a question. You understand that? You guys all clear? So the two things today, other than the first half on the whole mindset being in the water thing, the two skills when it comes to being a good prospector is a 12-second rule. So work on that from this class to next class. Say your affirmation every time you drive alone in your car. And be careful when someone says they're thinking of moving that you do not say you're willing to do all this work for them because they cannot say yes to that. Everybody clear? So say you're already going to be there and then they'll agree to see you. That's what a skilled realtor does. Any questions? Yes? Yeah?
So it goes for the same if you're door knocking?
100% the same, yes.
You don't want to try to get it the same day, you want to just...
Oh, or whenever suits you. Whenever suits you, right? So if you're there, you say, you know what, it's kind of weird, like I'm going to be back here, this time, tonight. I'm back here, I'll be finished up around 8 or tomorrow night. Whenever you book, it's whatever suits your schedule. But if I'm door knocking and both of them aren't there and I got a hockey game tonight, I'm not booking it for tonight. There's no way I'm missing that game.
I think his question is more like if you're there and they say, well, come on in, I'll have a look at the house now, maybe not again. Do you want to book it in or do you want to go in?
Well, are they? Okay, here's the thing, guys and gals. You know, if you go in right now, you're gonna start talking about things you don't want to talk about, right? Yes or no? Like what do you charge and all that kind of stuff. Yes or no? So if they say you'd like to come in, even if you've got all the time in the world, you'd like to say, I could pop in and take a few notes, but you're my last door I'm knocking, so I got an appointment. I can maybe spend 5 minutes. Do not go in and sit down right now. You are not ready. If you do, you're going to be talking about things you don't want to talk about yet. And what are the odds that both of them are there and about to sign right now? So don't get the cart before the horse. So if you're going to pop in, if I'm going to go in and see it right now, I'm going to say, you know what? I can do that. You're the last door that I'm stopping by today, so because I have an appointment shortly, I'll come in for a couple of minutes. And then they know that you're in and out, take a look at the property. Call them later, set it up. Next month, I'm going to talk to you about how to do the listing presentation correctly. And it'll probably fit better into next month. I'll show you how to know what their questions are in advance. And if they have 6, by the way, 6 questions, all sellers do. And if any of those 6 are not answered, they will not say this to you. I still don't have an adequate answer for question 2 and 5. They will say it this way: that was amazing, we'd like to think about it. That's what the brain will say, which means they have unanswered questions. I'll show you how to go in and say, You know, we know that when a homeowner meets with a realtor, they have 6 questions. It's okay with you guys, I'd like to discuss those 6 and make a decision. They go, awesome. And then you answer the 6 questions, and all the questions are answered, and you get the contract signed. It's gonna be so good, you're gonna actually feel like you're cheating. You're gonna leave that thinking, they have no chance against that, because I know what the questions are. That's next month's class. So everyone has my cell number, yes? Yes or no? Yes. Okay, everybody write it down if you don't have it. Rob's cell is 416-561-4888. 416-561-4888. You notice there's a CD in the back of your workbook also? That's for any of the classes you want to go forward in and get the Cole's notes on. Before we do the class next week, you know I'm going to ask about the 6 leads, yes? Whatever page that's on. So I'd like a little show of hands here. So who in the room here is going to find 6 leads between the meeting in July and the meeting in August? Put your hand up, please. You seriously just cannot put your hand up, obviously. Who's going to find 6 leads between the classes? Seriously, you can do it. Are you seriously, like half the room does not put their hand up? Okay, everybody hands down. One more shot at this, okay? Not yet. Who in the room is going to find 6 leads between the classes? Thank you. Gosh, that was challenging. Okay, guys and gals, thanks for your time. Have an awesome day. I'll see you guys tomorrow at the event. Thanks. You're welcome. You're welcome. Hey. Okay, actually that's not the case. No, I would have to say in our program we have a third of the people are a year and a half or less. No, but it's exactly the same. There's no difference. So I'm just not differentiating that. But
That's just illustration. You want to get going in business? Find 6 deals. Our program is a program. Matter of fact, we have a couple hundred. More than maybe 300 or less than a year. It's not the process is exactly the same. No difference. In the so you got 3 pillars, yes? All the work. You actually know the answer to this. You just haven't done it yet. So you have 3 pillars. Keep working. What are your pillars? Well, that's why you have this question. So you got my cell phone message. I need to give you a call. Okay? Because you need to be deciding which pillar suits you and then making calls on those pillars. Although you're making it very complicated, but it would be complicated if you haven't chosen your pillars yet. Rob@robdemicoaching.com.
Sorry, but that I
Email Josh@robdemicoaching.com. I'm talking about email or call.
called them
8:30 call. You
8:30.
don't get back? So just email Josh. He's in charge of the office. So it's Josh. Everyone,
I have.
yeah, email Josh. But not the next 2 days. Because they're all working.
Absolutely.
He's the guy who sorted that out.
Absolutely. Thanks.
First of all,
Yeah, so that's just always
that was longer, yeah.
can I follow your office and see how the office station set up?
100% yes. Just that we're not there the next 2 days. And then we only open Fridays. So any day on a Friday we come down. But you want to come check out the office, by all means.
Client Connect.